Drip, that's water, call that boss. You check my squad and they gon' be a cost. You better be prepared to take a loss. I left my enemies dripping, but it ain't sauce. It ain't sauce, no it ain't sauce. Yeah, enemies dripping, but it ain't sauce. No it ain't sauce, no it ain't sauce. Yeah, enemies dripping, but it ain't sauce. It ain't sauce, it ain't sauce.
Hello people, it's your boy Austin Smitty. Welcome back to another video. And in today's video, I will be reviewing Smile 2. Man, it's been a minute. I haven't done a review, a reaction, or anything in a while. I've been pretty caught up with other stuff, especially with school. Um, I have not quit. I'm still here. Still going. I just been pretty busy and caught up with a lot of family stuff and school. But I promise you, we're gonna get right back to it. And I will still be dropping Theater Outrage in a bit. I still got still editing it and working it out. But yeah, and I am a little upset I wasn't able to get to Joker and Transformers 1, but you know, things happen and on to the next. So I knew I had to get this one out. So for this one, we manned up and went and saw Smile 2. Now I have decided that I am going to do a spoiler review, like a spoiler part. So this first section would just be a non-spoiler, and the second part would be somewhat of a spoiler. But I don't really, it's not that much spoilers, but you know, yeah. But I also did get lucky with this one because my school actually had it where there was where you get to, they gave us like a free screening. So I got to see this film like 2 days before it actually came out. So right now, this is it will be Tuesday of me like recording this. It will come out tomorrow around 12, 11ish, 11, 12ish. So yeah, I was able to see this 2 days earlier before it actually comes out, because it actually comes out on Friday. So I'm actually giving y'all a good review before you go see it. For my non-spoiler review, is the movie good? Is it a good sequel? Is it terrible? Does it live up to what the first one does? I'm gonna say so. Is it good? Does it live up to it? The answer to this question is yes and no. Um, Pretty much for those that watched the first one, you're pretty much watching the first one again. You're not really watching, at least to me. I felt like basically you were just rewatching the first one all over again. Like the second one, this movie pretty much does. That's why I was like, I feel like it's not that much spoilers, but I feel like at times this film pretty much does exactly what the first one did. Like almost TVT. I'm gonna go deep into it in the spoilers, but it pretty much does it pretty much exactly what the first one did, with a couple of twists. Of course, you have Naomi Scott. You have a couple of new faces. Um, like the plot, like certain moments, like the fact that she's a pop star, that affects and changes a lot of things in this film. And that's also a part of the spoiler. Like that, it changes a lot of things. But for the most part, it pretty much does almost exactly the same thing. And it's not fully in a bad way. I was kind of expecting that. I knew going in. I ain't gonna lie, I was a little scared, but after as the film goes on, I realized like it's literally just doing almost exactly the same thing, but with a little bit of tweaks. Now, my main issue is I already can feel that they're going to make a third one, and I don't want them to. I didn't want a second one. I didn't really think I wanted a second one. I said that in my reaction. I said that after I saw the first one. I was like, I don't think they need the second one, but they did. Now, based on how this movie plays out, I don't want them to make a third one, but I feel like they are. So I feel like this movie, both of these movies are like the new, like this era's Final Destination. So like Final Destination, and I felt like literally after the first two Final Destination movies, the formulas kind of got stale, and I feel like that's what's going to happen with Smile if certain things don't change up, if the formula doesn't change or new things don't happen, because for those of you that saw the first one, and honestly, you don't really need to watch the first one to watch this one, because other than maybe like a little bit of the beginning, like the intro to the movie, like, yeah, you can say that, but not really. No, you don't really need to watch the first one. Yeah, the first, this one is kind of like, almost kind of like Quiet Place Day One in a way, where you could watch the other ones, but you don't really need to watch the other ones. But it kind of has, these movies give me Final Destination vibes, and based off of this one, I did like the second Final Destination to some degree, but I don't want these films to get into that category where they start having a formula, and this formula is going to just die out. Because for the most part, I liked the film. I thought the film was good. It had some good scares. It had a couple of good scares. Had some good moments. Um, but it did felt a little repetitive at times. Like they was just literally doing the same thing. There was a couple of different moments, a couple of different tricks. Um, I do feel like the trailer made it feel bigger than what it was, kind of like with Quiet Place, where it made it feel like it was bigger than what the film actually was. Because when you watch the film, it's actually not as big as I thought it would be. Like there's moments in the trailer where I'm like, okay, things are about to get real and intense, but they don't really go that as big or as far as I thought they was gonna be. They kind of stay pretty mediocre, like pretty average. But I still thought it was a good flick. I do think the first one is better, and I feel like that's mostly because going into the first one and watching that trailer, you didn't really know what to expect. You didn't know what you was getting into. And I feel like with this one, you already kind of know what you're getting into and what to expect. So your expectations are kind of like, I feel like your expectations are to expect better, like a little bit better or a little bit stuff different. And so I feel like people are still going to enjoy it. You're still going to have people that love this movie, still going to like it. But there are going to be a couple of few that are going to be like, I want something different. Like I want something more, because it does in some regards does feel a little bit like the same. Like you just did the same thing over again, but you tweaked like a little areas. And I don't really want it to. I don't really want them to, because even though I don't want them to do a second one, I know they're going to do a second one. I mean, even though I don't want them to do a third one, because I know they're going to do a third one, they need to switch it up. But that's pretty much it for my non-spoiler review. Overall, I would say great scares. There's some hokey acting in there. Naomi is pretty much the best one in here. There are some goofy moments. The film was actually a little bit more funny than the first one. The first one was like pretty terrifying throughout. This one was got a little funny, just a little bit, especially with like the little girl that's in the trailer. That was hilarious. But yeah, it has this. The acting was a little hokey at times. It was a lot of long shots, a lot of cool long shots. I will say that, and it was a lot of good use of mirrors, a great effective use of mirrors in the film. So I will give it that. And they do show you a lot of the goriness at times. Like there's like two or three scenes where you really see like some creepy like imagery. So I will give it that. But the first one, I gave it like an 8 or a 9. I would give it like the first one, Smile, I give it like an 8 or a 9. This one, I would probably give it. I want to give it an 8, but I'm like leaning towards a 7. It's like a 7 or 8 for me. I can't really decide. I feel like part of me wants to give it an 8 because I still enjoyed it. I still have fun with it. But the other part, I'm gonna just say the critic side of me wants to give it a 7 because I kind of wanted it to go a little bit grander and deeper than what it was, just a little bit, because it left me questioning in a good way, like the first one did. But now I'm kind of like, okay, you made the first one, then you made the second one. Okay, I thought the second one was going to kind of answer some questions now, but then you did it again. Now that third one, we gonna have to switch up the tempo, switch something up. But I might go with a 8. I might go with an 8, between a 7 and 8. I'm just saying between a 7 and 8. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this review. Um, The movie comes out Friday. Go to the movie, come back here, see the spoiler section. But if you want to get spoiled anyway, or if you don't want to see it, I feel you. But for those that are leaving, hope you guys enjoyed this video. I will catch you on the next one. Peace. Now, going to the spoiler section. If you're still here, you need to get out. You need to leave. You're about to get spoiled, kind of, a little bit, but you need to go. You need to go. In 3, 2, 1. We are in the spoiler section now. I'm about to talk. Okay, so what I in the regular spoiler section, what I was meaning by like literally the movie does everything one for one. Like you start off with it, you start off with a creepy moment to set up the mood, set up the tempo. You get to the main character doing something normal, whatnot. Then you slowly build up to the scary stuff. Then you get to like really intense scary stuff, and then you get to the climax, literally where character goes to a dark and creepy place, and then that's where the weird and creepy stuff starts to really happen. And then literally it's like the first movie's ending, like where she literally thinks she's won, she's escaped, and then the demon, the entity pulls a trick, and they actually don't win. And then in the end you get the big creepy scary monster coming out of someone or something. Well, in her case, it came out of a reflection of herself, and then it opens the mouth, goes inside. Yeah, like it pretty much does the first movie again. Like literally, like it's not even like like I'm not even like joking. Like it's literally almost like the first movie. It's just like a little tweaks, and those tweaks are because she's a pop star, she has more fans. So by the end, when she kills herself, all of her fans see it. So now each and every now over a million people are infected now. Like that was what was that worked for me. And I like that. I feel like you could just end it off with that where everyone gets infected now. Because in the next one, I don't really you're kind of have to get into explanation now. You're going to have to really go deeper and explore, because if everyone's affected, now you're going to have to figure out or tell us, or the director's going to have to figure out a way to tell us, like, where these creatures come from, how did they get here, why are they possessing people, and overall, what is their goal? Because if their goal is to kill everyone, what happens after they kill everyone? Like, what is the goal after that? That's really like my main questions. And in a way, I want them to be answered, but I don't want them to be answered. But I know they're going to make a third one. I can already feel that this movie is going to succeed. So I don't want them to kind of repeat the same formula again. And I kind of want them to go a little bit bigger, especially if you're going to kind of make it this apocalyptic thing. Because in a way, it feels like they're entering like a Bird Box territory where you really can't see anyone. Because once you see someone smile at you, that's kind of it. It's kind of over. Like you're going to die. You're going to die. So I kind of want them to change it up. I kind of want them to be a little different. But really, that's really the major spoiler for me. I mean, there's a couple of really cool gruesome scenes at the beginning where her friends, like her drug friend, gets smashes his face with the weight, and you start seeing his skull and everything. There's another gruesome scene with her mom stabbing herself, and it gets crazy. And then another big twist was that I think I don't know. I kind of like how this plays out in a way. It's almost like a Twilight Zone episode where you kind of don't know where. Like she started when she goes to her drug friend's house. That's where she like sees the smile, and that's where it starts to she gets infected. But from that point on, we don't know what's actually real, because by the end, she wakes up on the stage in front of everyone. Yeah, she wakes up on the stage in front of people. And we saw her mom die. We saw that she never actually talked to her friend. We saw that she never killed her mom. She's like everyone that she knows is there and fine. And the guy because she meets a guy that tells her that she needs to kill herself or turn her heart off to like stop her heart so she can kind of get rid of the entity. But we don't really know if that guy was actually real or actually not. So I kind of like that mystery there. That actually worked. But no, actually, there is no but. I actually like that. That it gave you like a Twilight Zone feel because now we don't know what part of the movie is actually real and what actually is fake. Because if you go back and watch it now, she was she hallucinating the entire time or was she hallucinating during different parts? Because now, if she was hallucinating the whole time, what part of the movie? What was she doing the entire time? Just running around? Like that. That's where it got me curious. But that's where I also gave the movie its props. But for the most part, I just that was really it for the spoilers. Just really those major things. Um, but it mostly just copies it the film one for one. And like I said before, I don't. If they make a third one, I don't think they need to make a third one. I think the second one ends it off pretty creepy with everyone getting affected. Because if you go into a third one, you're gonna have to get into some explanation. Because now I'm gonna want to know why are these things doing this? What are their goals? And I feel like you ended it off right there is perfectly fine. So I'm gonna still stick with a 7, 8 out of 10. Kind of stuck between the two. But I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I will catch y'all on the next one. Peace.